Welcome to I Heart Geek. And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek.
My.
Yeah, I feel like I should have definitely changed my intro for this one. Because we should be like, this is I Heart Geek. You know, I don't know where exactly I'm sitting on this whole gangster thing. So yeah, we're doing gangster movies, I guess. Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna hit all over the gangster pop culture thing. So not real gangsters, of course, because I don't think anybody at this table has the credentials to talk about being a gangsta. Yeah. Okay. So
we are off to a good start.
The closest I can say is I'm Sicilian.
Nice.
So I'm Dub, and I write your show and produce it and do other stuff from time to time, I guess.
I'm Miss Geeky Page. I run the Instagram page and post weird stuff for you guys to read all over the Facebook page.
I think we've all been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff for you guys.
Definitely appreciate it.
I'm Blyze. I'm the tech guy. I've got lots of projects in the works right now, so...
Which we'll discuss soon.
Yes.
Yes.
I am Sean the Bearded Wonder, and my beard would like to make you an offer that you can't refuse.
Nice. And completely off topic, but because we didn't really do this last time, Sean, where do people see your play, sir?
Bus Stop is running at Las Vegas Little Theater until the first weekend in February. I'd love to see you there, and if not, that's okay too.
Yeah, introduce yourself to the long bearded guy, and he'll tell him that you're part of the I Heart Geek family, and maybe he'll give you a hug. He will give you a hug.
I will give you a hug, especially if you call it the I Heart Greek family.
And then you have to have a lot of hummus, I think.
That's right.
Is there a geek, or is there a Greek, like, gangsters?
A Greek gangster movie.
Oh, no. Was it The Whole 10 Yards? They were Greek gangsters.
Oh.
With Johnny Tulips.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow, I just brought in my stereotypes. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm going to be in so much trouble at the end of this episode. I think I might be sleeping with the fishes.
Sleeping with the fishes. Don't make me bust your kneecaps.
So in this episode, we're kind of going to be going between, I guess the start would be like the Prohibition era gangsters.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's going before that. And then going all the way right past the Compton era, Boys in the Hood type. Well, no, actually, I think we're going a little farther than that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, the New York, I think, is the latest ones. And then, in the 90s, it hit real into LA and then went back to New York.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I don't know if that's because of real life things or just because that's where pop culture says.
There's stuff that's set in Hawaii, too, with the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, there's a lot of... Well, anything with Quentin Tarantino has definitely got to have Yakuza stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the appeal of the whole gangster movies? I mean, especially with, pardon, middle-class white dudes that love gangster movies. But what is the appeal?
I like film noir, so that's what kind of started...
You like the Prohibition type stuff?
Yeah, I mean, film noir, which was... yes, it lots of times it talks about gangsters who got their start in Prohibition, but the noir period goes all the way up into like the end of the 40s, but there's neo-noir now, so I mean it deals with that kind of time period. Noir is just like a dark film. It's a dark film, but there's certain things that you need in order, so I mean that's where my love affair of the kind of the gangster film kind of came from. Plus I am Sicilian, so I mean some of that is the history of my people.
It's in our blood.
Right.
This is an honest question that I want to ask, 'cause I noticed when there's like the Irish gangsters, for some reason, even though that's like the worst of the culture, you take a pride in it. Why?
Well, I mean,
this is literally the worst of humanity, and we take pride in it.
Mobsters and gangsters are bad guys. They're bad guys. There's no doubt about it. But like in the terms of people like Lucky Luciano and Al Capone, they built empires from nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Lucky Luciano was a broke kid, Sicilian immigrant kid in the slums of New York to just create the 5 families of what is known as the American Mafia. So
This thing of ours, yeah.
yeah.
I think it's also, I mean, folk heroes are typically viewed as criminals. You know what I mean? So I think there's something to be said for that we kind of dig stuff when it's sticking it to the man. You know what I mean? And I think there's also the living vicariously through. Like, I will never do that, but there isn't one of us that hasn't entertained the fantasy of what it would be like to be just like
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
so we get to live vicariously through that. I think that's some of the appeal as well.
Well, there is something else that actually just kind of coming to me right now. When I've heard this stories my whole life. When my great grandfather used to play cards with Pretty Boy Floyd. If you know who he is, he was an early gangster. But what they would do is actually why do we feel pride for them if they were from our genetic stew? They would, rob a bank, and a lot of money would go back into their community. They would drop a lot of money into the community, and there's some pride into that. That's why no one snitched.
Yeah.
But I think I think that could be a part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of it, that's definitely a good part of it, and also the family aspect of it. It's a lot of like, you're doing this for the family. You respect the family. Like
We always go back to family on the show.
Everyone wants that strong family experience that they really hit home in those types of gangster movies and things like that.
And a lot of times when these families and these gangs and mobs and mafia started developing, it's the group that was taking over is the group that was disenfranchised to begin with. So like when Capone and Siegel and Luciano and Meyer Lansky were coming up, Italians were scum of the earth to every other American. So Italian immigrants were terrible people. Like, get out. So to have someone like Lucky Luciano kind of beat the system and stick it to...
Feels like you can beat the system.
Yeah, stick it to the... those Americans that were mean to us. It's the same thing with the Irish mob, because the Irish were considered that. I mean, so, and it's the Yakuza.
Dogs and Irish need not apply.
Right. The Yakuza, I mean, it's the same thing. Is when that mafia, whoever they may be, whatever, Albanian, Russian, whatever, whoever happens to be kind of in control at the time when they try to come up, it's because they were the disenfranchised kind of group at that time. And this was their way of coping, and that's why people of the same background, that's why Italians were like,
Nice.
you're a bad guy, you kill people, but
That's a good perspective.
look at that Italian guy, that Italian man who had nothing like me, and now he's wearing $500 suits
So
and eating steak every night.
So it's kind of like, well, you know what? If I feel like there's some belonging, I'll overlook the bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't excuse any of the terrible, terrible things that gangsters do.
And let me say this before we continue. We are not saying that anything the gangsters do is okay by any stretch, but we're going to have fun with the conversation.
Yeah, not advocating any of this stuff.
And with that being said, let's move on to some cheating going on. We're going to do a game show.
Here's a generic game show for you.
All right, I got a game show for you guys today. We
I'm
got
gonna lose.
5 questions. If nobody scores any points, you're all gonna be sleeping with the fishes. Somebody's gonna get a cement overcoat at the end of this thing. Okay.
No stereotypes here whatsoever.
I think I'm allowed to do it because I'm Sicilian. That's my only excuse.
She's going to milk that cow for
For
all
the
it's worth.
rest of this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Faux show. Okay, number 1. What is the name of the casino Robert De Niro runs in the casino? You get a point for telling me the name in the movie, and you get a point for telling me what the actual casino was based on. I'm going to go this way, Blaze.
The correct answer is Rob's Place. And it was based off of the Flamingo.
No, to both parts of that. But those are good guesses, except for, the Rob's Place part. Sean, what do you got for me?
It was called De Niro's Dineros.
Is that all you're going to give me? Not a one it's based on, or
Oh, I
you don't
mean,
have to?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
good
it
with-
was-
I'm good
No,
with
I'm comfortable with that. De Niro's Dineros. is-
Dub, what do you got for me?
Okay, that would be the Tangiers.
That's correct.
And that was supposed to be the Sands.
No,
Yes.
it's the Stardust.
Ew.
It's-
Why would anybody go to the Stardust?
It's based off
Nobody
the one
still
that,
goes to
that
Stardust.
Frank Lefty Rosenthal ran.
Oh.
You're welcome.
My dad blew up the Sands. Just wanna throw that.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, he's part of the demo crew.
That's
Somebody blew
awesome.
up. Somebody blew
Not
up.
in a bad way, in a legal way, people. We're not
okay.
all mobsters in Vegas.
Somebody-
Just blind.
Somebody tried to blow up Lefty Rosenthal, so it's okay. It all works. Okay, number 2. What is the stuff that dreams are made of? Blaze?
Love is what dreamers are made of. That's
Gross. No.
That's exactly what it is.
Sean?
Puberty.
True. But not the right answer.
Oh, man.
How is love is the same, but no.
Neither one of you are right.
What is the stuff dreams are made out of?
Yeah.
12-year-old scotch.
No, it's what is the stuff that dreams are made of?
Does not change my answer one
Well,
bit.
So what was your answer?
12-year-old scotch.
No. It's the Maltese Falcon.
Never saw it.
Yeah, Bogey holds it up and says, so this is the stuff that dreams are made of. The whole crux of the movie. Number 3.
Rosebud. Wrong movie. Wrong movie.
This is
Dang
another
it.
two-parter, so you can get 2 points. I'm not seeing anybody getting any. Number 3. A hitman is instructed to leave what and take what in The Godfather?
They're going to leave ass and take names.
No. That would be the Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're supposed to leave no trace and take no poop.
Sure. The creativity points will get you 1 for that.
1!
But that's not like real points. Okay.
Oh, man.
Dumb.
0!
They're going to leave a horse head and take a poop in the toilet and not flush.
You both
I don't
went
know.
to poop.
Right, like you guys
Because it's
went to
funny. Because we got nothing on this. Nothing.
poop. He is supposed to leave the gun, take the cannoli. It is literally a improv line by the extra that was standing by the car who played the hitman. Okay, so one of y'all better get this one.
I'm winning 1. I'm
Deb
winning.
Deb is winning with a whopping 1 point. Sean is winning in the creativity realm with 1 point.
He'll take it.
Right. Number 4. Johnny Depp starred as what gangster in the 2015 film Black Mass? Blaz.
Bugsy Siegel.
No. Oh my God. Sean, I'm scared.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Did he play a different part than Captain Jack? I mean, he's done 18 of those movies now,
18.
right?
Yeah.
Just either
Do you have time for anything else?
it's either Captain Jack Sparrow or Hunter S. Thompson. That's
That's
pretty
right.
much all he's got
That's
covered.
Or
in this
whoever it
one.
was that he played on 21 Jump Street.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Dub, what do you got?
Donnie Brasco.
No, he wasn't Donnie Brasco, but he played Whitey.
Isn't that points then?
He played Whitey Bulger in Black Mass.
And yeah,
Bulger.
Particularly,
This is a
I would-
family show.
I
You
would
can't
have never
say
guessed
Bulger.
that.
totally can say Bulger.
It's
Donnie, he played Donnie Brasco.
It's like a zit.
He
It's a
played
Bulger.
Donnie Brasco in a movie called Donnie Brasco. So there you go.
Don't woman-splain that to me. That was so bad.
And unfortunately, the listeners didn't get to see my face when I was giving it to you too, because that's why we need a camera. And finally, thank God, number 5. Hey, Blythe, what happens to nosy fellows in Chinatown?
They get dead.
It's a good assumption, but that's not exactly right. Sean?
They end up like Pinocchio, see?
Good guess. You're kind of on the right track.
Oh, wow. Wow. I was...
You get wrapped in a fortune cookie and left out to be eaten after your sushi. I don't know. I have no
Wait
clue.
a minute.
delicious Chinese
You
sorry,
just
sushi.
mix
fried rice.
cuisines. You don't get
Fried
fortune
rice.
cookies at sushi.
Fried rice. Sorry.
I bet you could get fortune cookies at CC if it was just one of those places.
So was I right?
No, it's they lose their noses. nosy fellas lose their noses. That's why in the movie, Jack Nicholson's nose is all chopped.
Take that, you filthy animal.
Okay, so...
Oh, wow, I just went home alone with it. Yes!
Yeah! So we're done with that now.
Thank you.
Let's stop talking
And
about it.
Lies, you got nothing. Sean, you got nothing. Dub is our winner with 1.
I'm not proud of this win at all.
It's always the worst days when he's the winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Wow. That hurts a little bit.
Hey,
Now,
man.
this is when I wish Jason was here, because Jason would have won or something and been rubbing our face in it. I'm just not going to do that because... Well, because I just... Yeah, I feel... I don't know.
I just want you to know, PB, he's there's actual tears in his eyes.
There's
He misses
pain right
you
now. I do.
so much.
I miss Jason right now. He would have, he would have at least gotten 2 points, and I wouldn't have.
He would have gotten the Godfather question at least.
Probably.
There's a Godfather question in there?
Well, that's why I said, when I said the horse head.
Take the gun, leave the cannoli. We can't be friends anymore. I'm serious.
You
I
you
love the
threaten
fact
that every single episode.
I love
but
the
we
fact
s-
that
we
she's
still hang
mad
out.
at you for that, but I made a mockery of every single question.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
scot-free over here.
No, these two have their own really
do.
weird relationship. We've been trying to figure it out. We
don't
got
know
the
what it
brother
is
sister
either.
thing, but it's
Yeah.
weird, man.
It's antagonistic
away
brother and sister.
just to hear you breathe it. Sorry.
And we're going Bon Jovi. Now we're going New Jersey Gangster.
Oh. It's Atlantic City, baby.
Okay, let's move on. We've got to. Let's walk away. Walk away. You didn't
can't.
see nothing. Just walk away, huh? So here's kind of the question for. I think this kind of interesting as far as gangster era, because it does go through so many different eras. What is your favorite time period for gangsters and why? Let's start with Sean.
My favorite time period for gangsters. That's a really good question. You know, I would say that I didn't include this on my list because it's a TV series and not a movie for later. But I really am enjoying the whole era of Peaky Blinders. Like that's moved to the top of my list.
Yeah.
You know, like there's another one that's similar in feel in my list, which I'll save. But like I tend to gravitate towards that. Towards the non-traditional.
What era is which era are you referring to? Like, is it more modern era?
No. It's couldn't even.
1900s?
It's
20s, right?
It was 1900s, like early
It's the
19,
teens.
like right
Pre-Prohibition?
around teens, yes, but moving right. I think they're moving into.
Because Prohibition started in 1918.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like into Prohibition. Peaky
Gotcha.
Blinders. I think that's right.
I think my favorite era is probably the more modern era. I like the 90s Compton, that type of like that movement that happened. Also, I like when movies take like a more modern take on the old style, like gangster mafia mentality. Things like The Town,
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
I like the 20s, 30s, and 40s because I really love noir. So I like the classic stuff.
With the Italian, because you had to mention it again. Yeah.
I
Because you're
mean,
Sicilian.
I like the 20s, 30s, 40s time period because I think it's really an interesting time period. So I kind of dig it when they set stuff in that.
Well, I'm going to go like way outside of the box on this. You know, which the era that I like the most, which you guys can debate me on this, is literally the cowboy era. The Cowboys for 18, whatever it was, like the Tombstone era. Those were gangsters.
Yeah,
You know,
I
the
mean,
Wild
it
West?
says literally in the intro that it was the first example of American organized crime. Was the Cowboys. Literally says that in the intro of the movie.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's true.
Yeah, I love that movie. Incidentally,
So is that what you would classify as being a gangster? Is
Organized
a form
crime?
of organized crime?
I would classify them
I
as
think
a
so.
gang, but not necessarily a gangster.
Because like if you like watch the Compton stuff, it's not so much an organized crime. It is, but it isn't. not to the extent of like the Italians or like the the multi-level marketing, the pyramid scheme that they have for the gangsters in general, the capo and all the lieutenants, all that other stuff.
See, I would have to disagree with that. I feel like it is very much like a chain of command type thing. So you have your people at the street level who, like your workers, and then all the way up to the top you have a form of leader or form of like head boss.
Well, yeah,
that is kind of pushing the orders down.
This is strictly on a movie.
Yeah,
movie role, but it seems to me that with that era of gangsters, I'm treading lightly on how to say that. It seems like everybody's a street level except for the one guy who's kind of the head. So it's
okay.
It's not so much that pyramid. It's more like it's a guy and then everybody. So I guess it would be organized in some extent. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see where it would be, where you could kind of tread that line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a completely off the wall question you guys were not prepared for at all. What would you like to see in a gangster movie that hasn't been done yet? That this is like way out of left field because you guys were not prepared for this at all.
Yeah.
Something just even a comedy or just anything that hasn't really been done. What would you want to see, or what? I don't even want to say ethnicity, but what style or.
I think you guys will probably be able to throw something my way when I say it, because I can't just think of anything off the top of my head. But something sci-fi, like more futuristic. And I'm trying to think of something.
I can give you a kind of an example that was kind of on their way there. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Hackers.
Okay.
Kind of along that. Is that what you're talking about? Kind of along that line?
I don't see Hackers as being that type of movie, so I don't think I necessarily agree with you on that one. But I'm talking about like we kind of just said, like an organized crime, a pyramid type thing where you have street level something and it kind of works its way up.
But futuristic more?
Yeah, but more
like
futuristic.
Technology stuff?
Like I said, more of like a modern day, but in the, like if you kept taking that whole family aspects, old gangster type, and put that into a future type thing.
Nice. Anybody else got any ideas on this?
I want a queen pin.
Oh, I like that.
I want a female mob boss.
Okay.
There were female mob bosses. There weren't a lot of them, but they were there. I know that there's going to be a biopic about Stephanie Sinclair, who is actually a mob boss in Harlem. In the 30s and 40s, she took on Dutch Schultz, who was the precursor to Lucky Luciano. She ran numbers, racketeering, loan sharking. She did it all. So I would like to see. Give me some ladies.
Yeah,
nice.
No, I can definitely get behind.
I think it would be interesting to. There's always I don't know if I would call it a trope. It's close to a trope, but there's always the trope in the gangster and mob movies about the corrupt cops that are in the system, and I know there's Blue Blood and things like that, but I think it would be more interesting to see directly like
cop gangsters.
I want to see that movie that's made with those guys and what that hierarchy looks like and why they're under the thumb of the mob.
That's
and,
interesting.
Know what I mean? Like it'd be fun to have, that the only interaction that they have with the mafia is like if they're doing a drop or, but otherwise the whole thing is centered around them in law enforcement. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been on this Viking kick lately, like extreme for about the last 5 months, but I do. Honestly, the Viking culture is very gang-like. I think it's kind of an interesting parallel to draw on it, and I would like to see it go even farther. Of like a group of Vikings, like I don't know, 100 Vikings, and they do what they're going to do, and they have their own organization. I think that would be a very interesting take. Here's a question: Star Wars, is the rebellion a gang? Because the Empire is the law of the land or of the galaxy, and they are going out breaking the law to try to get theirs. No? Why?
No, they're
It's a militia.
Yeah, it's a militia. It's guerrilla war. It's not. They're going up against like a government, not just like the law enforcement. They're not just breaking the law; they're making changes to the status quo of
they do
like galaxy.
I just wanted to be able to say Han Solo's a gangsta.
real quick, spoiler alert warning for, at this point, for Rise of Skywalker, but the whole thing where you find out that he was a spice runner and that was his crew, like, I think they were a gang. I think that group, you know, she even
the
said
Hutts.
that's for the gang.
The Hutts are, they call him a gangster.
Yeah, the Hutts are.
he is a gangster.
The Hutts are a mafia.
Yep.
He's
Jabba the Hutt's
the alien version of Al Capone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So I think that because that there is an actual gang and mafia that exists within, that's another evidence that the rebellion is a militia.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as we're discussing this, this is really interesting. Anytime we see world building, the gangs are actually an important part of a larger world. Do you think that they are necessary for survival?
I don't think that they're necessary. I think that they've put themselves in a place to where if certain things need to get done, you eventually have to interact with them. So the whole thing with, if you go into more of like the deeper lore of like Clone Wars, for Star Wars, the Resistance, the Rebellion, have to cut deals. There's like a fight to get on the Hutt's good side because they control different trade routes within the galaxy. So at some point, you have to interact with them.
I did not see this conversation going this way at all. This is kind of interesting. No, it's actually kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's different. What? This is another one. What comic book character would you say would be a gangster?
I mean, but there are comic book characters.
Well, and
that
we're not
are
going to talk the
gangsters.
obvious, but
like Kingpin.
Yeah.
Kingpin. I mean, blah. But you know what I mean. It's just something that's kind of out. Like I just said, I want to say Han Solo is a gangster because he is.
It's not really though.
I think, and it's completely fine if you have this thing. I think you're going outlaw and gangster as being the same.
I
thing.
do kind of look at
and
them
they're
the same way.
not.
Yeah.
They're not. I mean,
Let him believe what he
Well, no,
wants
I
to
mean, I
believe.
can-
Yeah,
I can see-
yeah. Otherwise, I edit you out.
yeah, I mean, I
You're
can
getting strong-armed over here. You
so-
see?
I know.
See,
I
ma.
can see that I can see where you might think that. I don't necessarily agree with it. If that,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
a better
No.
way than say, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So-
No, yeah, because I think there definitely is a difference between an outlaw, someone who is an outlaw,
Yeah.
and someone who is a gangster. An
Yeah.
outlaw,
'Cause, like,
I feel as
Robin Hood wasn't a gangster. He was an outlaw,
yeah,
but he wasn't a gangster.
I think an outlaw is
Gangsters
more,
don't do things for the greater good. Just
Whoa,
because
whoa.
just because there's a gang, it doesn't necessarily mean they are a gangster.
But going back, like I was talking about with this story of my grandfather used to play cards with Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
They gave money to their community.
Yeah, but
they
so-
helped out their community.
Yes,
They
but
gained from that.
yes, the thing is the bottom line for them was how much money they could make. And how much power they could accumulate for themselves. I mean, that's like saying the guys who ran Vegas, those mobsters were good guys. No, they weren't.
Yeah.
They gave back to the community, though. That's why we had good roads and we had good schools because they.
And that's why all the casino workers were so much happier when the
Right,
things were
because
in
they
charge.
dumped all this money. Whoops! They dumped all this money into the community, but they did it because they were making so much money, and they wanted people to keep coming here so they could make even more. So I mean, I think
Well, they're
that's
businessmen then. So the corporations
so
are
I think
gangsters.
That's why that's the differentiation. But I can see where you're.
Yeah,
going
I
with
also
it,
view
so.
an outlaw as being like a singular person. A gangster's more part of a group.
Part of a group.
Like Han Solo, he became part of something, but he was a man who was out for himself.
Yeah.
He definitely became part of like a family, became part of the resistance later on, but he was always just out for himself.
Fair enough.
I'm still stuck on the question, and I literally cannot come up with anyone. I keep getting close, and then I talk myself out of it. I go, this character, I suppose, this comic book character could be, and then I go, no.
'Cause I threw this out of nowhere,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's you guys.
So
didn't
I've
have to
literally
think
been
about it.
quiet over here trying to come up with one to be like, here's my answer to your question, and I got nothing.
Yeah, the Green
Geeky
Lanterns.
Page, could you hit that
The
gong
Green
again
Lanterns,
for
they
me?
are but they're military.
You
Though.
want me to
I just got gonged out. Can you
joint the mic
hit the
again?
gong again for me?
It's because I'm talking
There
with
we
my
are.
hands and I have to stop.
This is not the special effects episode, you guys.
Well, you can even say like the X-Men were, if you want to go by that
I
strict
thought about
definition.
the X-Men, and I don't think the X-Men
There's-
are either.
yeah,
It's,
they're-
I think that their intentions aren't in line with what a gangster's intentions would be.
So Suicide Squad,
Suicide Squad is being forced to do it. They're not doing it for
They're a
gain.
team.
It's not a
Yeah.
choice.
Doom Patrol.
A team. I think those are all
The
teams.
closest
They're
that
not-
I've gotten, honestly, is Lucifer Morningstar in the Sandman series when he's in hell.
Oh, dude, you win.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's all you have to do is say
Closest I can
Sandman.
get.
Sandman.
And he's done.
and I'm happy.
Yeah,
He likes
so, well, you know, we're right there. We're soulmates on that.
Well, even what should have been our number one is
Yep. Yep. So yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a discussion. I want to save time for that discussion on
Yes,
that.
yeah.
So let's move on to our listener feedback.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, so here we are with our listener feedback. We have lots and lots like usual. And so I have
Thank you,
to
guys.
we love it. So I have to cut it down as usual.
You sound like it's a chore. No,
No,
this is a good.
I just want
problem
everybody to be
have.
mad at me. So please keep commenting and keep giving us listener feedback. Because if I don't mention you on one episode, then we'll probably mention you on the other.
But this is why I don't do this anymore because I don't like people mad at
He
me.
likes you guys to blame me for this.
Yes.
So first couple I'm going to do are going to be kind of like a blanket because a lot of you mentioned these. So the first one I'm going to say is Goodfellas. And we had our buddy Dino at the podcast mentioned that one, as well as Skater Thompson.
Skeeter.
Isn't that what I said?
You said
Just
skater.
Skater.
Oh,
He
I'm
was a
sorry.
skater
I
boy.
thought I said Skeeter. I apologize, Skeeter. Trevor Reason also mentioned that one, and Tyler Romaine also mentioned Goodfellow. And then basically everybody said the same kind of thing. Great dialogue, classic monologues, memorable moments, and just a terrific vibe.
And that last scene.
Yeah, it just some seriously good stuff in Goodfellas. Up there, I think, with Godfather as the best of the gangster movies. And then a lot of you also mentioned The Untouchables. Our good friend PB&Jason mentioned that one, as well as Christina Belden. And that looks like that's just, you guys need to step up your game because it was just them.
Wow. Don't be original.
Right. So for PB&Jason, it says because it was very much gangster fantasy, and he really liked the vibe that was going on there, as well as Sean Connery as Jimmy Malone. Sean Connery in just about everything, except
It's
for that.
just brilliant.
Yeah, except for that weird space one that he did. Our good buddy Carl.
We haven't heard from Carl in weeks.
No, I'm
Carl.
excited.
I miss you, Carl.
He mentioned King of New York, and because it introduced him to Christopher Walken, David Caruso, and Wesley Snipes. Talk about a powerful movie with a powerful ending. It has stuck with me through the years and is one of Walken's greatest performances. Catherine Winston mentioned The Road to Perdition. The soundtrack, the cast, the story, all around perfection. And she said it's also Paul Newman's last role, and he was brilliant. I agree he was brilliant. I don't know if it was his last role, but you're probably right, and I'm wrong. So thank you very much, Catherine.
That's why we have Guggle.
Christina Belden. We love you, Christina, and your 37 answers. She mentioned The Highwaymen, and she also mentioned The Departed. The Departed was a bad wording brilliant, as she said,
Yeah.
because she can't swear. I think she said forking last time.
We appreciate that.
We
that,
do.
Christina.
It is rare for me to watch a movie that keeps me on the edge of my seat the entire time, but this one did it. This is a movie I can watch over and over again. Skeeter also mentioned Casino, which is one of my favorites. But he also likes New Jack City, which is often forgotten, but always a way to go.
And me and him in high school used to listen to that soundtrack. That For the Love of Money. Great.
Nice. Scott mentioned Harlem Nights, which is
Yeah.
really awesome because I don't think that one gets mentioned all that often, and it really, really should. He says it's because it's Prohibition gangsters with a packed cast. It really does. The cast is really stacked in that.
Yep.
It is good stuff. Trevor Reason, in addition to his lovely Goodfellas, also mentioned A Bronx Tale. We've got... And then, just because it's fun, Tyler Romaine mentioned Angels with Filthy Souls.
Oh,
Because the movie just has so many practical uses.
you filthy
You
animal.
filthy animals. Thank you for all of your wonderful listener feedback.
Can I ask a question before we move on? Did you think that was actually a movie the first time you watched Home
Yes,
Alone?
I did.
I did too. I don't know. You were like a fetus at that point, so I don't know.
They don't in both of them, though.
Okay, thank you guys so much for all the listener feedback. You guys are awesome. Again, more than we could possibly hope for, and we appreciate it. Keep it coming, guys. So let's move from there and let's go on to the main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, so for this version of the main event, we are talking our top 5 gangster movies, and we are all over the board on this one, guys. Would you say that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just jump right into it, and my number 5 is the whole mythology of the Punisher. Not necessarily the movies. I know I kind of broke my own question on that, but I guess the whole thing with him actually destroying all the gangsters is just a really interesting just mythology in general, and that to me is an education in what is a gangster and all that.
Yeah.
So I just say no, that one's a little out of the box on it, but I like the guy that's killing the gang. So does that make him his own 2-man gang?
No.
Because he has an organization.
I would still say though that he does interface with gangsters, and so I think that
Yeah.
it's that
He's in the
I will
world.
accept that he's in a world that interfaces with
Yeah.
that. So I'm good with that.
That's
Nice.
why I would, I'll let you have that one too for that reason.
Nice.
My number 5 is the one, the only, The Godfather, the greatest gangster movie ever made.
It's so slow.
Shut up.
It is. And I want. That's one of those movies I've always wanted to like, and I've watched parts of it. It's just slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as
Why
good
is it so slow?
I don't know. I love it. I mean, I don't actually sit and watch the whole thing at one time.
I think that's kind of the thing with it.
I do it in pieces.
I think it's
so-
the material of it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not meant to be like an action movie. It's not showing
No.
that aspect of gangsters in that view. It's meant to show you the
Everyday
organizational piece
Yeah.
of it. So that's why it's
and I mean
it's got that
it's
slowness
Michael's
to it.
rise to power.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How he became the capo de tutti capi.
Yeah.
So
Okay, fair enough.
I just wanted
That's
to
one of
say
those things I
confident.
want to get that movie, but I don't.
maybe don't watch it all in one sitting, like I do. Like there are stopping points where you can go, okay, well I'm gonna put this down for a minute, and then I'll come back and
I remember on the VHS
back
it is
to
2
it.
tapes.
I mean it's a long film.
Anything that's 2
so-
tapes, you need to take a break.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
My number 5 is Harlem Nights.
Oh,
I love that
Nice.
movie.
It's such
So
a good
good.
movie.
That's one of those ones that's kind of changed up the game, so
Yeah.
to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, just beautiful performances from Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy.
and the soundtrack on that is just
it's
perfect.
Just taking that. I think it was one of those movies too that took a genre and made it something that people weren't expecting to be like. Just getting something out of something you knew you liked and making it different.
Nice.
Mine is Lawless, and
What is that one?
that's the it's the one with Shia LaBeouf and what is his name? He's like one of my favorite actors, and I'm blanking on his name. He played he was Venom. Tom Hardy.
Tom
Okay.
Hardy.
Thank you.
Tom Hardy does a lot of gangster
and
movies.
his performance in that was stellar. And so it's about alcohol runners in the Prohibition, And it was kind of the thing about how like stock car racers were the first alcohol runners and things like that.
Nice.
And then so there was a lot of like police interaction, but a big part of it was they were moving in with the alcohol into mob running territory, and there's a lot of interfacing with gangsters and the mob. And I mean, the performances in it are stellar, and as a fight choreographer, some of the fights in it were gorgeous.
Awesome.
So brutal, and like ones where you know it's fake and you still have to turn your head.
Nice.
Nice.
My number 4 it's a sequel. It's The Sting 2.
Not the Sting 1?
Not The Sting.
Okay.
I watched The Sting 2 first when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And it was such an amazing movie to me. It's Mac Davis, Terry Garr, Jackie Gleason. It is just a fantastic movie. Not taking anything away from the Paul Newman original, but there's something about the second movie that it just fits so perfectly. It's entertaining. It's quick paced. It's so gangster. It's just, about con artists. This is when I scared my parents when I was a kid. I want to be a con artist when I grew up because that's what they did. And I'm like, that they're cool. And my parents were like, no, you don't. No.
It's like Harry the Hat Anderson from Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Like turned more people into con artists. Like because he's charming. So I get that. That's
But
great.
it's such a fun movie. It's perfect soundtrack. It's one of those movies, if you look away from it, you're going to miss a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to every bit of it. I highly recommend going back and rewatching. I think it's like 84, 85. Highly recommend rewatching that one.
I was going to let Jen come in.
Yeah.
You look nice, baby.
Oh, oh.
Oh, you always look nice.
Okay, ready? I'm going a little rogue. I'm branching off from movies, and I'm going to TV with my number 4, which is Boardwalk Empire.
Was it good?
So good.
Why?
The acting is great. I mean, it's got a stellar cast. The writing is phenomenal. It's beautiful to look at because it's that 1920s Prohibition Atlantic City when Atlantic City was
Vegas?
it was a jewel of the Atlantic.
Now it's Reno.
Right, Reno. But I mean, Steve Buscemi gives some of the best performances of his career as Nucky Thompson.
Nice.
My number 4 is, I mentioned it earlier, The Town. I actually just recently watched it. I thought it was one of Ben Affleck's best movies that I've seen him in. And it really made me think. We talked about a little bit about why like gangsters are so endearing to people, but they do terrible things. This was one of those movies where at the end I was like, am I supposed to feel good for him right now? Like I shouldn't. He got away, and I was like, I don't think he should have gotten away. He did some bad things. So it was a good movie.
Nice.
My number 4, I'm actually calling an audible, and I'm
Okay.
switching up now. I might honorable mention what I had before, but I'm going with True West. And it was, we were talking earlier, and it's this scene between Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken, which now in PC culture could never be made ever. But the work that goes on between those two actors is nothing short of genius. So I think that True West definitely makes it onto my list.
Nice. My number 3 is Danny DeVito, John Travolta at their absolute best. Get Shorty. If you haven't seen it, it's a comedy, and it's kind of a dark comedy. There's a lot of deaths that happen in that movie.
Yeah.
But it's that one, and even the second one, which was I don't remember the name of the second one. Just watch Get Shorty. Just fantastic movie. It's based on a true story of a hitman that basically comes to Hollywood and leaves the old life behind because he thinks that the movie industry is more gangster than the gangsters.
That's true.
It's a fantastic movie, and I highly recommend it. I'm highly recommending everything that's on my list. But yeah, it's a lighthearted gangster movie, and I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in real quick and say that I'm sorry. I said True West and I meant True Romance.
Yeah, 'cause
True West is a Sam
Oh.
Shepard play. I meant True Romance.
That makes more
apologize.
sense now.
I'm sure Courtney was like, Christopher Walken and
Right, 'cause you
Dennis
kept saying, I'm
Hopper
like,
were in
I
True
don't
West?
remember
I hadn't heard of it.
Bruce
So like,
Willis?
okay, yeah,
No,
yeah.
True Romance.
West, I
Oh,
don't know
that's
that.
why my
Romance.
face went.
Yeah, True Romance. Anyway,
He's got plays
go
on his mind right now.
He does. He does. I'm going to stay in the TV realm for just one more. It's a TV show. It's a very short-lived TV show by Frank Darabont called Mob City. And it had Joe Bernthal as a cop in 1940s Los Angeles, where Bugsy Siegel and Mickey Cohen are still running everything. And it takes place... it's only 6 episodes, and it takes place over like the course of a month before Bugsy gets killed.
Yeah.
And everything switches to Mickey. And Bernthal has a little bit of a hand in it. I wish there was a second season, but it didn't do as well. So
Is that what it was? Did they not finish it, or did it get?
no, because there's a. I mean, I don't want to. If anybody wants to watch it, I mean, there's a the spoiler is it actually hypothesized what possibly could have happened to Bugsy Siegel. Bernthal's character, the cop, actually kills him.
Okay.
So it ends the season with the death of Mickey, or sorry, the death of Bugsy,
Yeah.
and which would set up a second season of a whole. This is what happens to Los Angeles as they try to find the killer. But
Right on.
it just never. The ratings weren't there, so they never got a second.
You
season.
said John Bernthal. I was like, I'm all over it.
He's really good as that tough as nails.
Oh,
And I mean,
yeah.
he's a good cop, but he has to do some bad things because of the woman in his life. I mean,
You know
it's
what I love about
really
this
good.
conversation? That we're all bringing stuff that none of us have heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
love
that's,
it.
That's really what is
You
the
can
best
watch it on
top
Amazon
fives.
Prime.
Cool. I'll have to check it
Very
out.
good.
Everyone's heard of this. Scarface.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Scarface.
Say hello to
Something
my
for my
little
sinuses, you know?
Just one of those movies that has memes before they were memes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
My number 3 is Untouchables.
Oh, great one.
Here's how you get Capone. Like that's all I have to say. Untouchables.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to call an audible and do a switch out, and it was Goodfellas. Yeah, great movie. But enough people mentioned that on
Yeah, it's
listener
in the listener
feedback.
feedback.
So, I got to say this one, Sin City.
There you go.
Yep.
Just, I mean, highly romanticized gangsters at its best,
Yeah.
and just so well done. And
Noir cake. I love it.
I love it. It's yeah.
And Mickey Rourke, G.D. Dames.
He's so good.
Got my
He's
mitts.
so good as Marv. I love it. My number 2 is The Stuff That Dreams Are Made Of, The Maltese Falcon. And I'm talking the original Humphrey Bogart one, and that's all I have to say about that.
Whenever I hear that name, I always think of Condor Man for some reason. I
The
don't know
Maltese
why.
Falcon.
Dun, 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 dun. Condor
Maltese
Man.
Falcon.
Thank you for that. That just
Yes,
made
you
my
got it.
day.
You got it.
My number 2 is Boys in the Hood.
Okay.
Good
Just
call.
one of those movies that really brings it doesn't glorify the bad things that are going on. It just shows the struggle that they cause and people trying to escape them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice. Gangs of New York. Do I need to defend it? Or are we
Nope.
good?
No,
at it?
no one's gonna argue.
Gangs of New York. They just 2 gangs battling it out, and then in the end, when they show everything moving forward, and they kind of imply by showing as the seasons pass that the gangs have just changed in the same neighborhood. You know,
Yeah.
Gangs of New York.
Nice. Okay, for our number ones. Now, my number one is number 1.5 because I'm kind of sharing the other my other 0.5 with
Sure.
Sean. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to say The Warriors, which
Oh, so good.
even the remake that they did when they remastered it and made it like kind of comic booky a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's just you don't think of that as a gangster movie, but that is truly the definition of
Can you count? Suckers! Oh man, that movie's unbelievable.
Warriors.
Come out and play.
Another
So
one. I
good.
want this to be a movie night because I don't know what it is about that movie, but it's a cult classic at this
I would
point.
be in on a movie night for that. And
I think we need to sit down and really get in depth and discuss that one.
Cool.
And all the themed games
Brilliant.
are just great.
It's brilliant.
My number 1 is basically one of my all-time favorite movies ever. It's L.A. Confidential. It's got Guy Pearce, it's got Russell Crowe, Kim Basinger, and it's Hollywood in 1953. And it's the changeover when Mickey Cohen is gone down for tax evasion, and so it's kind of left everything up in the air about who's taking over, and people are killing cops, and it's noir cake, and I eat that up with a spoon. It's so good.
Nice.
The book is
Your
phenomenal.
editing has been just
I
on
know,
point
because
today.
I really want, like, you guys can probably figure out what I was going to say in there, but
It starts with a C.
yeah, I love LA Confidential.
Nice.
My number one is kind of a spin-off of my number two, and that's Straight Outta Compton. If you've ever seen it, it's the biopic of NWA, and it really hits some of those points where you could see that they were trying to escape that type of lifestyle, and even with characters like Suge Knight, like, it followed them into the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I want to piggyback on that and say CB4 too.
Nice. So I'm going to honorable mention the one that I took out, which is Knock Around Boys, which, if you haven't seen it, Vin Diesel does a tough guy speech in that's perfection. It's amazing. But my number one is Boondock Saints, which is also one of my...
Only the
I'm
first
shocked.
one.
Also
I'm
one of my...
completely shocked.
Well, are you being
Really?
serious?
No.
Okay.
I knew
Because-
exactly what his first one
Yeah,
was
because
going to be.
she's like, what else is it going to be except for
We
the
have-
movie that he brings up every time? You guys could be like, Sean, what's your favorite Disney movie? Boondock Saints?
Saints?
I mean,
Eventually,
Just
when
so-
they buy the property, it'll.
That's right. That's right.
Oh no, Duffy will never let it go because Duffy will still be a butthole about it. Which
Does
explains.
that mean that Willem Dafoe in drag would be a Disney princess?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
You heard a third.
Was a firefight! Sorry.
You heard the third one's in production, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know. After the second one, I don't know if I'm
The
happy
second
about
one
it.
hurt my soul a little bit.
They've been saying that the third one's been in production
No,
for a
it's-
long time,
It's
though.
happening
We'll
now.
see.
I don't know how they can get Norman Reedus or Ford Reedus at this point.
right?
We're getting
Yeah.
a third
He's
National
kind of a-
Treasure movie. Oh, sorry.
Wow, out of
one.
left field. And shepherds we shall be for thee, my lord, for thee.
And I'm going to steal the Constitution.
Nice.
Sorry.
Okay, that is a gangsta show. Yeah, listen to the end. Find out where you can, subscribe to all our stuff and do that and like us and all that other fun stuff. So until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Miss Geeky Page.
I'm Blythe.
I'm Sean.
Keep on geeking on and keep it gangsta.
Mercy.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.